Okay, so just a really quick update. Today is March 3rd, Tuesday, and I hope it'll be a quick update. I just kind of wanted to talk about my food. I feel like I've become obsessed with food and what I can do with it. You know, I've got like a restricted amount of calories, and within that, I've got macronutrients that are kind of set, so I have to sort of manipulate the menu to work with those macronutrients and to stay within the allotted calories. And I guess one of the things that I realized yesterday and today is that no matter how much I manipulate the food or figure out different types of food to keep it interesting, the calories are going to stay the same. I mean, they're going to decrease eventually, I would think, but it was kind of a harsh reality that kind of set in. I just kind of thought, I don't know, I sort of unconsciously or subconsciously thought that if I could figure out certain foods that I could eat, I wouldn't be as hungry. And I know that sounds so stupid, but you know, it's just the fact, I guess, you know, that no matter what I eat, I'm always going to have sort of that pit in my stomach, that kind of hunger, that sort of like that lack of energy that I usually get when I'm like overly full and not depleting. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of throw that out there, you know, because this past weekend was actually pretty cool with the food and stuff. You know, I had like a really nice breakfast with my wife on Sunday, I guess it was. I did those banana pancakes for her, and she loved them. And you know, it was great. I put some blueberries on there, and I had like my low-cal syrup and all that stuff. And I actually had like a slice of turkey bacon, which was really nice. And it kind of felt like a real breakfast, you know, even though like those pancakes are primarily egg and egg whites with like a little bit of flour and like a little bit of banana to kind of hold it all together and make it less like an omelet and more like a pancake. You know, it's kind of like, I think part of this is tricking your palate into thinking that it's getting what it normally does. It's getting pancakes, you know, when in fact they're healthy. And you know, the only unfortunate thing is you just can't eat as much as you want. You know, it's like, I think that's the hard thing about this, you know, no matter how healthy the food is or whatnot, there's a limit to how much you can eat. And that evening, or maybe it was Saturday evening, my wife and I had a nice dinner. You know, I had a sirloin that I broiled, and I had a little 4-ounce lobster tail, and I had a side of like baked potato, of course with nothing on it, and I had like some vegetables. You know, but the sirloin was like 4 ounces, and that's like a tiny bit of steak. And sirloin's a lean red meat. I think it's like as lean as you can possibly get, you know. And obviously with the red meat, it's the fat that's marbled throughout that makes it taste so good. And you know, in this case, there wasn't a lot of fat. And the lobster tail was great, no butter or anything like that on it, you know. But the funny thing was, like, my wife, she's very petite, but she was probably eating twice as much as I was. And you know, that's not saying much because I really wasn't eating that much. You know, so I had a really nice dinner, but the quantity wasn't there. You know, I obviously wanted more. You know, and she kind of looked at my plate and, you know, was like, "Is that all you're eating?" You know, so that is my realization for the day. You know, and I just wanted to quickly kind of go over like what I ate today. You know, and again, I've been really varying this menu, and I really feel like I have been stretching as much as possible. I feel like I have been squeezing every calorie and macronutrient out of this that I possibly can. Like, I'm on my FitnessPal probably 30 or 40 minutes a day, like just manipulating stuff and trying to figure out like, oh, if I cut this and I do this, maybe I can get a little bit more of this, you know, or, you know, something like that. And I guess that's kind of when I kind of came to the harsh truth today. I thought, you know, no matter how much I stretch it, you know, it's the same, you know. But like I said, I've really been creative with this. I have figured out some things that I can kind of eat throughout the day without really adding a lot of calories. And I think that is one trick to this. Aside from just varying what you eat, because I don't think it's sustainable to just eat what I started off with, the chicken, brown rice, and broccoli. You can't do that for any amount of time. I did it for a week, and that was rough. So I think, the flexible dieting is truly where it's at. I know some people don't agree with that, and I remember these guys that were touting the whole if it fits your macros thing before I was even familiar with what that meant. And there were other guys saying, oh, that's bullshit, but to be honest, I agree with that. I'm jumping on the IIFYM bandwagon, because for me, it's more important to stick with this. And, I don't care. I kind of thought going into this that I'm a machine and I can do it. I can just eat chicken and brown rice and broccoli, and I can eat clean and that stuff, and maybe have a tablespoon of natural peanut butter to get the fat in there, and maybe drizzle some olive oil over the chicken, and it's not sustainable, So that is a huge piece of advice that I would pass along to anybody out there. But that said, today I had my banana before I went to the gym. When I got back from the gym, I had a protein shake that had some banana, whey protein, water, and the PB2, which I absolutely love. I think that stuff's phenomenal when you add that to a protein shake. And I put as much ice in there as I possibly can and blend it up in my Ninja blender. And I drink that, and I think the ice and the water kind of makes me feel like I'm getting a little bit more than I actually am. And then, I got to work, and I had actually made myself half of a whole wheat bagel. I put a tablespoon of cream cheese on there. I had 2 slices of turkey bacon, and then I put 6 egg whites that I had cooked on top of it, so it was kind of like a little breakfast sandwich, and that was like phenomenal. I loved that. And today I bought some sugar-free strawberry preserves, which is like 10 calories per tablespoon, and like I don't even know if it's got any. It's like maybe 1 gram of carb, or not even. I'm not sure, but anyway, no, maybe it's like 2 or 3 grams of carbs. But I'm going to add that to my little breakfast sandwich tomorrow. I think that'll be really tasty. And while I'm at work, I'm drinking water throughout the day again, just trying to like keep something on my stomach so I feel more full than I am. And yeah, and that actually reminds me, I think, this is going to turn into a longer video than I thought, but when I get back from the gym, I've got to have the protein shake because I've exerted myself so much. I've got to have something like on my stomach right away, so I do that. I'm trying to put more calories earlier in the day, and I mean, Jeff said to space it out throughout the day, and that is another trick, I think, to this, is to keep your calories consistent throughout the day and don't let yourself get hungry. It would be great, like I want to like indulge and like eat all my food in the first half of the day, and you can't do that. You got to stretch it out, whether that be like I think I lot like 3 or 4 rice cakes throughout the day, so I'll have a rice cake like on the hour, and then I'll have my meal, and then I'll wait like another hour and a half, and I'll have the rice cake, and then I'll have another meal, or so you really have to sort of make sure that you're spreading out those calories as much as possible. So that's another important trick. For lunch, my wife and I had the same thing, which was really good. I made them this past weekend. It was a baked sweet potato with like a turkey chili inside it. I got that recipe off bodybuilding.com, and it was really good. It was pretty filling. My little second lunch of the day is what I'm calling it. I had the sweet potato, the chicken breast, and some broccoli. That's pretty standard. I just do that throughout the week, so I've already got those prepared. And something I have added, which I'm like over the moon about, is sugar-free Jell-O. I was kind of turned off to Jell-O for the longest time, but I used to love eating my desserts, and this way I can eat a big bowl of Jell-O and I feel like I'm getting a dessert, but there's very little calories in it. There's no carbs. I guess it's like 99% water, and then there's like a packet of Jell-O mix in there to flavor it, and it's sugar-free. So, I'm getting a Jell-O dessert in there, and actually, like the day I kind of figured out I could do that, I like went to the store and bought like a dozen boxes of sugar-free Jell-O because I was so excited. So I'm gonna see if I can kind of space those little Jell-O cups. I got some like little ramekins to make Jell-O. I'm gonna put those throughout the day. So I just kind of feel like I'm eating something without adding a lot of calories. I think it's like 10 calories per half cup. So I can have like an entire box of Jell-O, which is like 2 cups for 40 calories, and not add any carbs, or I think it's like 1 gram of protein or something, because it's I think it's horse hooves or something like that. I think that's what Jell-O is. But at this point, I'm just glad to have something that kind of feels like a refreshing dessert. So that's cool. For dinner, I had some more chicken breast. I actually broiled in the oven, kind of blackened it. I did that over a salad. I actually got some sugar-free, it's like a raspberry vinaigrette for dressing that I put on top of it. That's actually pretty good. And I actually treated myself tonight. I had a super pretzel. I was able to like manipulate my carbs enough to where I could have one of those super pretzels, you know, and I just love those things. So I had that with dinner, and man, my dogs were so mad too, because they normally get a piece of super pretzel, and like, I'm starving, so I wasn't about to like forfeit any of that super pretzel. So they're holding a grudge. And then I had some Jell-O for dessert after dinner, and before I go to bed, I'm going to have my shake. And I'll tell you what that is. I have casein protein, which I didn't like initially. You know, before I was on this diet, I thought casein was so thick and nasty, but now I blend it with water, and I like that thickness. I've got a tablespoon of peanut butter left that I can add to it. I've got a banana that I can add to it. I actually have some unsweetened almond milk that I can add in there too. I bought that at the store the other day, and it's minimal calories. It's like 1 cup is 30 calories, like 1 gram of carbs. No, 3 grams of carbs, 1 gram of fat, and you know, there's like a couple grams of protein in there. And I'm going to blend that up with some PB2 and as much ice as I can possibly fit in there, so I get like a big creamy shake that fills me up before bed, or you know, at least it feels like I'm full for a little while. So that's my day of food. And you know, after I have that shake at night, I always get kind of sad, because that's my last food for the day. I don't get any more. So anyway, I guess, oh geez, this is a long video again. I can't help it.